Now let's talk about the futures of Wi-Fi 6E and Wi-Fi 7 are coming. Please welcome our next international speaker, Mr. Mohammed Farhan Khan from University College Cork. Hello, Mr. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, and can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I'll start. Just a second. Right. So my name is Dr. Mohammed Farhan Khan, and today the topic I'm going to talk about would be on Wi-Fi 6E and Wi-Fi 7. So uh, it's the formal topic name is the enabling of Wi-Fi 6E and 7 in 6 gigahertz band. We will see how the spectrum sharing and deployment lessons from Pakistan we had in this particular case. So just to start with it, just excuse me for a second. Okay, so let's talk about the importance of Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi, as you all know, is one of the ubiquitous form of technologies. It's all obviously the last mile technology. It's available for better user experience. It's very fast. Sometimes gamers also use this kind of technologies for different kind of low latency applications. So it has really transformed the way we work, we live, or we interact. It's very open, it's very interoperable, it's sufficiently secure. Mainly Wi-Fi comes under the radio LAN, which is R LAN and W LAN technologies, and the most popular trademark is the Wi-Fi, which is owned by the Wi-Fi Alliance. So the technical name, as we know, Wi-Fi is IEEE 802.11 standard. It's also called last decameter technology. Just to give you a quantum of estimates that there are approximately 21 billion Wi-Fi devices in use today, and among them, mobile devices are approximately 17 billion. So a large amount of population is using Wi-Fi by their mobile devices. And it's actually, if you see the trend from 2018 to 2025, it's actually 150% increase. So in 2025, we have around 4.9 trillion global economy contributing to Wi-Fi. So that's the economic value of Wi-Fi. You can see in 2023, it was 3.5 trillion USD. So Wi-Fi, as we know, is a complementary technology to 3G, 4G, and 5G, the latest mobile technologies. And the interesting part is that the 63% of the mobile traffic actually offloads to Wi-Fi. So whenever you are on a working or you're doing any task, so most of the time people are using Wi-Fi and indoors. So that's a trade-off we see when we talk about a comparative study between 3G, 4G, 5G, and Wi-Fi. So as we know that with the mobile communication like 5G, we are usually using it when we are mobile, like they're used for the mobility applications, but usually indoors it's Wi-Fi, which is being used. So the problem with Wi-Fi was that in past the older generations of Wi-Fi, they were working in 2.5 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz, but in 2023 the 6 gigahertz band was actually being used by or was being targeted for providing the IMT for providing the Wi-Fi services. So the case for 6 gigahertz band partition in Asia Pacific was made. So in this case, there was the first question was that which approach to take. So, for example, the whole 6 gigahertz band is approximately 1200 megahertz. So the main question was that how much of the spectrum should be allocated to 6 gigahertz. So moreover, the same amount of the same 6 gigahertz band was also one of the contended technology for the IMT, for the 5G communication as well. So there was a lot of comparisons being done that either this band should be allocated to Wi-Fi or either this band should be allocated to WLAN, so or to the or to the IMT, the 5G the 5G radios technology. So a lot of comparative studies were being done. So if we just talk about Wi-Fi numbers, as I told you in previously, that it's approximately 44.1 billion annual Wi-Fi devices which are shipped in 2026. That's one of the sources we have, contributing to $4.9 trillion of economy USD. Also, there were, I mean, 51% share of the US Wi-Fi carrier traffic is in Wi-Fi 7 alone by 2027. So this is how you see the importance of Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 7 coming in global economy. So use of Wi-Fi has almost, as we recall in 2020, just 6 years ago, when COVID-19 hits, so we saw different studies that Wi-Fi traffic was actually increased by 80% over, and there was approximately 70% to 94% increase in Wi-Fi during the day. So most of the people, they were working from work from home in that part, and as you see, the recent hit in oil economy also have compelled many economies to go on work from home again. So in recent, just you can see in last 3-4 days, the use for Wi-Fi has again gone up very high because of the new world order and because of the oil crisis. So it's the second wave of work from home coming, which different countries have adopted. A lot of companies in the UK have adopted a work from home policy just because of this current oil crisis. And the same thing happened back in 2020 when COVID-19 hit. So if we talk about the existing for Wi-Fi, so existing Wi-Fi 4 or Wi-Fi 5 was the old generation. So the existing band allocation for those were in 2.4 gigahertz to 2.5 gigahertz, only 100 megahertz. And 5.725 from 5.87 gigahertz, which is 150 megahertz. So if you look in totality, it's only 250 megahertz which was being allocated to Wi-Fi for in old generations, and these were the different channel size. So just for the simple terminology for a layman, you can understand that Wi-Fi is the last mile access. So if you have a very high connectivity, for instance, an optical fiber connection, a broadband fixed, an FTTX, FTTH fiber to the home connection, and if you have in the home, in the last mile, if you have a old generation of Wi-Fi, so you won't be having a true experience of good of quality of experience in a high speed. You cannot experience a high speed until you have the latest or the most advanced Wi-Fi. So the older generations, they were found in different applications. They were slow. They had interference issues from different technologies. For example, this same band, this was called ISM band, or this band. This was also used by microwave ovens, cordless phones, Bluetooth, RC controllers, cordless phones, communication links. So the problem with this old band was the high amount of interference which was being experienced by Wi-Fi from these technologies to Wi-Fi. So it obviously impacted the performance. So the current Wi-Fi spectrum, which we just saw in the last slide, is actually inadequate to meet the demand. So there were globally many countries around the world which have found that the Wi-Fi spectrum in 6 or 60 gigahertz band could be used. So in the US, the FCC, the regulator of US, decided to make approximately 1200 megahertz from 5925 to 7125 available for the unlicensed shared use of low power indoor use for Wi-Fi. in Korea. So they actually follow the same approach as in the US. The same 5925 to 7125 megahertz allocated for the Wi-Fi unlicensed use. So the Wi-Fi could be used in that band. In the Europe, they took a bit of different approach. They actually partitioned this 1200 megahertz band into 500 megahertz, and they allocated 5925 to 6425 for the use of unlicensed. And the rest of 700 megahertz, they left it for the time to decide. They might allocate this one to maybe IMT, which is the mobile communication, or later on to any other applications. So the unlicensed use or the license exempt use of 6 gigahertz actually provide sufficient spectrum for Wi-Fi, which is currently inadequate. So different countries took different approaches, and few of the countries like UAE, Taiwan are also considering consultations for adopting this particular ban. So you can see in the UK, the National Consultation, they plan to open the same 500 megahertz for the unlicensed used. So if you see about the Wi-Fi evolution, I'll just go very quickly here. So you can see the older generations, the Wi-Fi 4, 5, 6, and the latest one, which is the Wi-Fi 7. So they have their launch dates. So Wi-Fi 7 was launched in 2024, and the rest of them were historical dates are listed there. It's known as 802.11be, could have a minimum data rate of 46 gigabits per second. Its security has different advanced security features such as WPA3 and the channel size of 320 megahertz, which is very critical to deliver a high performance experience. And also it uses a technology called MLO, which we'll go and see in next slides. So as you can see in this, that this 6 gigahertz band was not open before, and this was categorically the band which we were targeting for use of Wi-Fi in a license exempt band. So you can see the Wi-Fi 6E or Wi-Fi 7, they brought some very advanced features like more contiguous spectrum, wider channels. You can see the channels have been the channel size is quite wide in these two. Less interference because there is no sharing of band with other technologies like microwave or any other RLAN technologies. So the benefits for gigabit speeds, extremely low latency, which is very good for real-time communication or gaming applications, and a very high capacity, which is also very important for different kinds of use cases. So these were the few advantages. So if you dig a bit deeper into the 6 gigahertz band, so you can see it can actually offer multiple of 160 megahertz to 320 megahertz band, which were quite big enough to provide you a very high capacity compared to what we had in 2.4. So you can just see from this that the channel size in 2.4 gigahertz, the old legacy Wi-Fi was 20 megahertz, and if we have 3 channels, we could actually go only to 60 megahertz of spectrum, the 3 channels allocations. Whereas right now we have 1200 megahertz of spectrum with 59 channels, which is quite a big leapfrog in terms of capacity. So if we talk about issues in this 6 gigahertz band, so what issues in different countries have. So for example, if I talk about Pakistan, so the same band was actually being used with the fixed satellite services, the FSS, the fixed satellite services. So there were a lot of studies which actually had to be done using the different international studies, for example, SEP reports, to verify if there could be a potential interference from the fixed satellite service, FSS, running in the same band which we were targeting to open in Pakistan, or for the unlicensed use. So there were different studies, and one of the studies, the SEP studies, SEP 73 report and 75, suggested that if you can go with these power limits, for indoor 23 dBm and for outdoor 14 dBm, they are safe and there is absolutely no interference with a Wi-Fi with the FSS, the fixed satellite services. So there was a lot of countries did a different kind of technical studies in order to roll out any interference or potential interference with the fixed satellite services running in the same band. So the barriers in adopting Wi-Fi 6E and 7 was the main barrier was that this satellite this band was actually used in an uplink of the satellite communication, so it was very critical to rule out any potential interference so that it could be adopted because of the Wi-Fi 7 benefits are quite massive, so it has a very high spectrum. So the spectrum got expanded, the bandwidth got uncongested. There are super wide channels, and it supports seamless connectivity across different settings. So these are a few of the advantages which Wi-Fi 6E or Wi-Fi 7 delivers. So these are advanced because Wi-Fi 6E and Wi-Fi 7 both uses the same band. The only difference is the MLO, the multi-link operation, which Wi-Fi 7 has, which actually combines all three legacy bands 2.4, 5, and 6 simultaneously to deliver a ubiquitous connectivity. So the few of the advanced features were the multi-user, multi-input MIMO, which is a technology you all know, MIMO, West MIMO, a bigger channel bandwidth, and also OFDMA, and the higher order modulation, which was 1024 quadrature amplitude modulation QAM, which actually increased the throughput of Wi-Fi. Obviously, if you understand the mobile communication, so these key enabling technologies like MIMO and the modulation and the beamforming, they play a very important role in terms of capacity, throughput, and user experience. So they are all quite directly linked with all of these factors if you know the wave radio propagation. So expanding to 6 gigahertz was quite a big jump, as we know that the Wi-Fi provides the extra bandwidth which supports higher speeds and low latencies, and could actually be an enabler for advanced applications like 4K, 8K streamings and virtual reality, augmented reality, and also the major advantage was the offices and the workplaces, the businesses. So the enterprise were the main targets where they used a lot of Wi-Fi's, and having an upgrade to them can actually prove a disruptive technology in terms of their work throughput. So just to give you a very quick example, that in Pakistan there was a case of and in different globally there was a case of having this shared band between the Wi-Fi and the fixed satellite services. So as I said that this was quite a challenging technical study to undertake, and on the basis of different international studies and different reports, there were safe limits were assigned so that this could be used and they could coexist. So in Pakistan, we took the same approach which the European Union, the most of the countries in the EU region took, and we allocated the 500 megahertz from within this range, and Pakistan became the 10th country to do so with these limits. And this is one of the big achievement in terms of technology adoption, I would say, and actually can enable the digital transformation for any economy. So we also made a framework following the opening up 6 gigahertz band, which actually listed all of these parameters which were required. So I won't go into the details because I know the forum here and the audience here comes from different backgrounds. But if someone is interested, it's available. The slides would also be shared, but and I'm also available. But and if someone isn't available, I can also answer it after the session end. So the safe parameters were for indoor, for different from outdoor. And we allocated this band on the non-interference and non-protection basis. And actually, its impact was quite high. It promotes the digital inclusion, IoT innovation, and smart connectivity campuses, and in short, a digital transformation. So these were few of the reports and studies which we used when we were when we were making this decision of unlocking this 6 gigahertz band. So ECC decisions and HC reports were quite helpful to understand how this ecosystem works. Um, so if you talk about the key features of Wi-Fi, so key feature of Wi-Fi is obviously user experience, a very high data rate, spectrum efficient, so very high spectrum efficiency, high network energy, manage efficiency, network connection density goes high. Key enhancement, as I told you, was the multi-link operations, the MLO, the high modulation schemes, and MIMO with having a very peak data rates, and it's also quite cost effective. And the major benefit was the very low latency which we have in Wi-Fi C. So it's very good for any real-time applications such as remote surgery or any real-time robotic monitoring or gaming applications. Could be anywhere where the requirement for low latency is required. So these were very few of the advantages. And I still believe that in Myanmar also, I'm not sure, but whether you have adopted Wi-Fi 7 or not. But if not, I would strongly suggest that you should. So Wi-Fi advanced features includes the higher channels, which is the 320 megahertz channels, making it the widest channel size available in the market. And the key technology, which is the multi-link operations, which allows devices to transmit and receive data simultaneously over multiple links for increased throughput, reduced latency, and improve reliability. A higher order of modulation and the compressed block acknowledgement, which is 5 and 12, which actually improves the efficiency and reduce the overhead. Also, it has multiple RUs to a single STA, which actually improves the spectrum scheduling and resource scheduling, which consequently enhance the spectrum efficiency. So in short, it's highly spectrum efficient, this Wi-Fi 7. And and also a few of the other major technologies such as the triggered uplink access, which actually optimize Wi-Fi 6 defined trigger uplink access to accommodate latency sensitive streams and satisfy the quality of service requirements. So in short, it helps and improve the latency and for enhancing the quality of service experience. So in short, Wi-Fi 7 devices, there are approximately 1,200 devices models available in the market, and approximately 5,000 device models which were released having a 6 gigahertz band capability. So just to tell you that from the vendor perspective, that this was amount of devices were available in 2020, and this figure is from 2025, last year. And if we talk about the different access devices, so for example, there were approximately 4,300 plus devices models available. So all the flagship models like Samsung, Apple, iPhone, Google Pixels, they all have this Wi-Fi 6 enabled, which is they can use 6 gigahertz band. Also, your latest laptops of different brands like MacBook Air, Lenovo, HP, Dell, they also support this band. So because they have a Wi-Fi as well, so all of these devices could actually use the Wi-Fi 7, which operates in 6 gigahertz band. So if we talk about Wi-Fi 6 6 gigahertz global adoption, so you can see these countries who are in purple, they have adopted this 500 megahertz, including Pakistan and the neighboring country. And the green ones, for example, the US and some Latin Americas, they have adopted full spectrum, which is 5925 to 7125 megahertz. So there are approximately 100 countries which have adopted which have opened up 6 gigahertz band. Myanmar also may open the 6 gigahertz band for unlicensed use. And this band is actually crucial for extremely high throughput that Wi-Fi 7 actually defines. So as you can see right now, I believe this data is taking the data source is Wi-Fi Alliance. So as per Wi-Fi Alliance, Myanmar still has to adopt Wi-Fi the 6 gigahertz band so that the Wi-Fi 7 experience could be enabled for the use in Myanmar as well. So talking about the application and use cases, so there are a lot of applications and use cases. I'll just quickly talk about one or two. So AR, VR applications, remote learning, e-education, e-health, online gaming, a high definition video experience, different kind of surveillance and monitoring systems. They all required, or Industry 4.0. For example, smart factories, smart stadiums, smart warehouses, they all smart ports, they all required the very high requirement for Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi 7, which operates in 60 GHz band, is the technology which can actually support that requirement because the legacy requirements are not that much capable. So that was the application and use cases, and there are very few which I was, I could have because of the time limitation, I was able to discuss only few, but there are hundreds and hundreds of applications and use cases, and it's just a few of them I have shared. So if we talk about the speed comparison, just to give you a glimpse, I'll run a very short video. So you can see on the left, this was a speed test run on the old Wi-Fi supporting 2.4 gigahertz. So you can see this was the maximum, and this is a best case scenario. So this you can see that it only achieves approximately around 264 megabits. That was the highest peak data rate. And if we talk about a Wi-Fi which is 6 gigahertz, which operates in 6 gigahertz, so you can see a very high throughput, which is approximately touching 900 megabits, 3 times what we have in the legacy. So that's just to give you a very basic idea that how drastically Wi-Fi 6E and Wi-Fi 7 improves the speed if we talk about the old legacy 2.4 gigahertz band. So this was a maximum download speed 262, and the right one is 856. It's 3.2 times higher actually. So that was all. I would like to thank you, the Myanmar Network Operator Group, for organizing this conference. It's a very important conference, and I, although I'm not there, and I'm in right now in Islamabad, and right now we are celebrating a festival called Eid in Pakistan. So, but I really hope and wish that the next time it's happening, I might be joining it in Yangon with you all. Yeah, thank you very much, and this is my email address for any questions, and I'm open for any questions if you have. Yeah, thank you. Over to the host.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mohammed Farhan Khan, for the fascinating look at the futures of wireless. And now we have quiz session for your topic.